organization that I so love and I'm extremely passionate about, and it's so critical to the future, especially, where our rights are being infringed constantly. And it's just one of those things where I'm super honored to work for an organization that has such incredible volunteers that have that same passion and that same mentality of conserving our wild turkey, but also preserving our hunting heritage and ensuring that the next generation is able to get outdoors and do the things that we love.
It's too much.
Tejas.
It's still too.
Tejas Hunt Club Podcast is the podcast for you and you. And you.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Tejas Hunt Club Podcast. Today you have your host, Meagan McEllier, and I am joined by Amanda Lilly, the South Texas Regional Director for National Wild Turkey Federation. Met Lilly about a year ago, and I've been following her journey and her position with National Wild Turkey Federation. We actually had a chance to meet up recently, and we just were so excited to get this podcast episode going and hear more about her story and how she got started and kind of what the mission of the National Wild Turkey Federation is. And then how you guys can get involved or what you can do to support that mission. So welcome to the show. Really appreciate you being on. I know you mentioned you're on the road. So where are you right now?
I am currently in Plano, by way of Houston 2 days ago, Carthage yesterday, and Plano today.
My goodness.
Yes. I've been everywhere, man. Yeah. Always on
So what
the
are you
road.
doing in Plano right now?
I'm actually doing a little bit of rest and relaxation. I've got some delightful gals that we have been in book club together since the pandemic, and we try to get together once a quarter, and we choose a book and we choose a location, and we just get together for a weekend and have a little girls R&R. We've got just a blank agenda, and we're just gonna
good.
read and girl talk, and it really is going to help my brain because my next few weeks are constant. So it'll be great. It'll be a good little bit of respite and then back on the road. And then thankfully we have Thanksgiving, and that'll be a good time to get a little bit more R&R. But yeah,
in between,
so
in between the chaos.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
No, definitely.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I can always tell you're super passionate just because of your social media. If y'all haven't seen her on Instagram, go give her a follow. I mean, her content is great. She always talks about what she's out and about doing, and it's just really exciting. And I love it because I'm from the South Texas area. Brandon would argue I'm from East Texas, but I did grow up along the coast, and he's from South Texas, truly. So we definitely have a special place in our heart for anybody who's on the mission of conservation in those areas. So. Give me a little bit of a backstory. I know you said you grew up in Tyler. Did you grow up hunting?
Yeah.
Did you grow up in the outdoors? Kind of what does that look like, and how did you get into this space?
Okay, yeah. So I did. I grew up in Tyler. I did not grow up hunting. I grew up in a hunting family. We ate deer meat. We, I had a massive respect for the outdoors. I grew up fishing primarily, for as far as outdoors activities went. And then I got into hunting as an adult. And when I went on my first turkey hunt, I was hooked, and then just became a volunteer for the NWTF. And then when a position was available, I just threw my hat in the ring, and I was blessed to be able to sit here today and talk to you about an organization that I so love and I'm extremely passionate about. And it's so critical to the future, especially, where our rights are being infringed constantly. And it's just one of those things where I'm super honored to work for an organization that has such incredible volunteers that have that same passion and that same mentality of conserving our wild turkey, but also preserving our hunting heritage and ensuring that the next generation is able to get outdoors and do the things that we love, even if it's just having the land to go hiking, kayaking. It doesn't necessarily have to be hunting, but it's so important, especially these days. We see it more and more often that, society isn't loving the hunter as much these days. So the outdoorsman.
I totally agree. And most of it, and tell me if you disagree, but most of it from my perspective is for lack of education, lack of information. It's just
Absolutely.
been,
Absolutely. That's why I so love, especially in Texas, we have so many incredible programs, which I know we'll talk about and we'll get into, but a lot of them that do a ton of education and field to fork in that kind of initiative where it's so critical. If you want to know where your food comes from, become a hunter. If you care about this world and you're a conservationist, then you're already a hunter and you're already locked into that, and you already know how extremely important the preservation of this lifestyle is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something you and I have in common for sure, that we've connected over, just that
Yes,
passion for continuing that. So that's a great segue into the program. So just a little bit about National Wild Turkey Federation, kind of what the mission is. I know it's a complete, US wide mission that you guys have. It's not just in Texas.
Right.
It's been around since the 70s, correct?
Correct. It's actually been around since 1973. So this is our 50th anniversary, which is so incredible, and it's so cool. And so we have chapters everywhere, including Hawaii, and so I think that's so cool. So we started in the 70s, 1973. We have, oh gosh. We have enhanced acreage. We have had boots on the ground efforts through so many partnerships, as far as right now we have, Waterways for Wildlife. We have our Habitat for the Hatch, which includes a lot of East Texas down to, so it kind of goes Metroplex down to the Bay Area. And that's a 10-year initiative of research and boots on the ground mission work to ensure that those eggs become poults, become turkeys, become a population, a huntable population. And there are just so many incredible initiatives going on around. We have a huge one with the Forestry Service to ensure that we are handling prescribed burning properly and everything like that, so that we can stop the wildfires and just conservation across the nation, as far as all of our wildlife. Because if you have good habitat for turkey, you have good habitat for everything. And so it's extremely rewarding the way that we work in our partnerships with other state agencies and government agencies to ensure that and to continue that field work.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And speaking about the habitats, that's a great point to make about turkey habitat, right? So I know I've learned a little bit about turkey habitat, and honestly, they're very fragile. I mean, can you talk a little bit about what that looks like and what they need?
Absolutely. I mean, even so if you have too much brush, if they can't see to find their little bugs to eat, then they're not able to grow. They're not able to continue, there's not enough brush and they're just in the eyesight of every predator because there's no coverage for them, then there again, even fire ants are detrimental to a poult, to the turkeys. There's so many things, and they just need, those first few weeks, they just need enough nourishment and protein, and they need those bugs to get them strong and able to fly and able to get into the roost and protect themselves. So there is a lot of variables when it comes to turkey habitat, but it's so important. And I'm so incredibly excited about this Habitat for the Hatch initiative being in, my area, of course, being a Piney Woods girl in East Texas. I love that it covers that, but just for the parts of the nation that it is in, because it's so critical for us to continue this research, to know what all we can do, especially as hunters, as landowners, to ensure that we are properly prescribed burning, properly handling our our predator control, what the fire ants play into that and how we can mitigate that. So it's really incredible. And so, it's vastly different if you go and you're in Merriam territory or in Rio territory, that kind of thing. So that's all, it's all just It's also incredible. And I don't have a biologist background, but I love talking to Annie Farrell is our biologist here in Texas. And I love hearing, the Texas Parks and Wildlife folks talk about, they're just their biologist brains. It makes me so excited. I'm like, you lost me 20 minutes ago, but keep talking because I'm learning so much.
I'm taking
like,
notes,
I'm on the fundraising side. Y'all put all of that, that money to work in the field. But man, it makes me so happy to hear all of the things that are going on. And it's incredible. So so I'm still learning too.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same as me. I was telling you before this podcast, I have so much to learn about turkeys, but you asked me 3 years ago, I would have never had an interest. We had our first turkey hunt in Del Rio, Texas in the spring, and it was the most exhilarating hunt. And it was so fun, and I learned so much about them since then. But there's still so much that people don't know about turkeys. And I mean, for growing up, I barely saw them. They just seemed like little brown specks, and we really didn't notice them if they were hanging out. But I mean, even just they're beautiful birds. I've learned a lot about how pretty they can be. And then you mentioned some of the other breeds of turkey that are in the different, areas of the U.S. and Florida and South America. There's all kinds of different turkeys that you can hunt and hybrids. Brandon's been up to Idaho I'm sorry, not Idaho. Where'd he go? Brandon's been to Nebraska. Yep. He's been in Nebraska to hunt turkeys. Yeah. He went to Idaho to hunt mule deer. So I'm getting my species mixed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I think the coolest part about your job, you said you're on the fundraising side. There's a lot of programs that are involving that next generation, right? So you told me a little bit about the Jakes. So talk a little bit more about that. And then also, you had some things that you were like, I would love for some additional, youth programs or for some more adult interactions.
Absolutely. So our Jakes program is for the kiddos up to 17 years old. We have a ton of we are a chapter-based organization. So in case you're not aware, we have chapters all over the state of Texas. We're growing new chapters all over the state of Texas. So if you aren't if you aren't plugged in to a chapter, reach out to me and we can get you plugged in, and we can absolutely get you hooked up with like-minded conservationists with a passion to preserve and conserve what we're doing here. But yeah, so we have chapters, and those chapters have the ability to have what we call hunting heritage events. So we have our Jakes, which is for the kiddos. So we go out, maybe have a Jakes Day where we do we have a BB gun trailer. We have a couple of them in the state. So we set that up. We usually partner with somebody. Texas Parks and Wildlife has a great archery tent that they can bring out also for the kids. We usually do hunter's education in conjunction with that. And then we also, so this past weekend, I was very fortunate enough to help out with a youth hunt that we did in Victoria, and the city of Victoria was incredible. And this was in partnership with Texas Wildlife Association with their Texas youth hunting program, which we can totally get into all of that because that is where my heart lies. And then we also have our WEDO program, which is Women in the Outdoors. And they, again, getting women out in the field, getting them, we do a ton of skeet shoots and just getting you comfortable with firearms and introductory into that and self-defense. And there's a ton of WEDO classes that go on throughout the year. We have an amazing one in Bell County. It is huge. These women do an incredible job. There's so much. And then Jessica Fitch is our WEDO coordinator for the state of Texas. So if you are a woman in the outdoors and you want to get plugged in, you need that girl time, but you also want to be outside having a ball with your gals, let me know, because we are getting our calendar all set up for 2024. We need all the girls we can get to make sure that we have some incredible hunts and incredible classes for everyone. So if you want to volunteer, we would absolutely love to have you. And then we have our Willen Sportsman, which in Nacogdoches and Lufkin, they just had a Willen Sportsman hunt. And so that is for disabled individuals. And we do have Jake's Willen events as well for the kiddos. I helped with one of those last year, and it was just a tremendous, tremendous experience. And I love the ability, the things that we are able to provide, because I can't imagine, losing a limb or being in an accident or of some nature to where you can no longer do your passion. I'm so glad that we have the Will and Sportsman program to be able to have the track chairs and the blind setups that are needed and everything that is necessary to ensure that everybody can get outside and everybody can get back to nature and can get outdoors and hunt. And it's just such a spectacular program, and I love all of them. And I love whenever we are able to have new folks join in on those and really see our mission at work, because it's amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
And I
really
mean,
life changing. Yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, it's so nice to hear that it's not just about turkey hunting. It's about
No,
the
yeah.
lifestyle. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that having that accessibility to the firearm education, the hunter's education, that's huge. Having a hunter's
Yes, it's
education
huge.
arm is big.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love to hear
Because
that.
obviously, we want you to safely and ethically go through your hunting lifestyle, and to be able to harvest ethically and to have the utmost safety whenever we're conducting these hunts. That's number one.
Mhm.
So we always have that at the number one priority. So yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that National Wild Turkey Federation brand is touching other areas in so many facets of that lifestyle.
Yes.
I love to hear that, and I actually that's a lot of things I didn't even know about. So thanks for sharing that. So you mentioned the 50-year celebration that you guys are celebrating for National Wild Turkey Federation, and in the last 50 years, can you tell a little bit about like what that looks like, where y'all have come from in the last 50 years, what you've accomplished?
Absolutely. Oh, I would love to. I would love to so much. So in 1973, there were just barely over 1 million turkeys in North America. And after that 5 decades of hard work from our volunteers and our conservation staff, and just all of the incredible partnerships, there are now over 7 million birds in the United States, which I think is incredible. And we
Absolutely.
have invested, I know, and over that course of time, we've invested $500 million in wildlife conservation, which just like blows my mind and makes me so giddy.
Yes.
So yeah, and that is, we've improved, or we have conserved over 22 million acres of wildlife habitat, which again is like a mind-boggling amount. And I know that we are just getting started, because like I said, we have the partnership with the forestry, we have our Big Six initiative, we have the Habitat for the Hatch initiative, we have Waterways for Wildlife, which is for the Colorado River from Canada all the way down. And just thinking about the magnitude of water. I mean, that is not just Waterways for Wildlife, that's us. Even, I mean, water is critical to everyone. So just everything that we have our hands in, and everything that we are doing is it amazes me. It's incredible. So I love being a part of it, and I just absolutely adore our volunteers that are just as passionate, and just go out and spread the gobble, as I like to say. But like,
That's cute.
I say that jokingly, but I'm always like, go spread the gobble. But that's just, one of those things where it's so important what we are doing. And I love like this, I can't thank you enough for your collaboration in helping us to share what we do and who we are within the state of Texas, because we still come across so many people that haven't heard of the NWTF even after 50 years. So the future is extraordinarily bright.
Absolutely. And if we can use our platform, I mean, Brandon and I are both very passionate about extending
Yes,
the
y'all are
reach of any
amazing.
organization, that contributes to conservation, to contributes to the next generation, education, whatever that may be, activations. There's so many things that you guys have done for the community. And like I said, not just for turkey hunting, just in general. And so to hear those numbers, those are staggering. Like like you said, it's really hard to wrap your mind around. Absolutely.
Yes. Like,
Awesome.
what does 22 million acres look like? You know, like,
what does that even look like?
What an
Right.
acre looks like.
Absolutely. And then even some of these more urban areas, I know you said you were in Victoria, but I'm sure you visit some of the like Houston or some of those other areas where there's a lot, even more room for education. There's more people.
Yes,
It's just like
absolutely.
there's so much more space for that.
Definitely.
Great. So let's dive a little bit into, because Brandon and I both are TWA members of Texas Wildlife Association, for those who don't know. We started out in Stewards of the Wild. We knew about TWA. We got our joint membership for the two. And so now we both have and we'll talk about this as well, but the Texas Youth Hunting Program, we both went and got our Hunt Master certification this past summer. So we've been able to he's actually going on a Texas Youth Hunt this weekend, not for turkey, but he's going to go hunt this weekend. Yeah. And I know I recently saw you guys announce the new partnership with TWA, and you brought this up a little bit earlier, but let's dive a little bit into that, about what that looks like and kind of what opportunities that opens up for you guys.
Absolutely. So Texas Wildlife Association they are the stewards of the private landowner sector in Texas. And so we know with Texas being roughly 97% private, how critical that land is to preserving our hunting heritage in Texas. We don't have the public lands that a lot of these states have to be able for, mom and dad or whoever, brother take little brother. Like, we don't have the public land access to just go out and say, today we're going to go dove hunting. I'm going to introduce you to the sports. I'm going to introduce you to the outdoors. We don't have those opportunities as easy as other states do, And so with our partnership with Texas Wildlife Association, we are now partnering with them to be able to host Jake's, Weedo, and Willen Sportsman events on that property that they are stewards of and that they already have the relationship with. And so it's that kind of partnership it just is the puzzle piece that Texas needs as far as our mission of getting folks outdoors and introducing them to the outdoors and being able to continue that portion there. And of course there are landowners that year after year have allowed for a Jake's or a Willen Sportsman or a Weedo event to take place on their private property outside of the TWA realm. But this ensures that we do have more land available to us to be able to continue these efforts for generations and generations to come. The mayor of Victoria actually came out and he was like, he just spoke so highly of NWTF and TWA and being able to have that partnership for the kids of Victoria. This was the first time that they had a hunt like this in the area. They were so thrilled to be able to host local kids. And there were 5 of them, 3 girls, 2 boys. So, I was like, woo, woo, these girls are getting it.
Oh, yeah.
And
they all got,
they all got bucks and does. They filled the freezer. They did incredible. And, man, I tell you what, it just filled my heart with joy. These kids were just so thrilled. There was one little girl, Harper. She's 11, and her first hunt, her first ever harvest, the first night that she went out, she killed this bruiser of a buck, and I was just like in tears, just thinking like, gosh, this is not an opportunity that she would have had, and just I was just overjoyed, and I'm so passionate about that because I remember that first buck. I remember that first turkey. I remember that feeling of like, okay, when do we do this again? Like, okay, I'm hooked. Like, this is good. This is what I like. That buck fever never goes away. And so, yes, so we were able to.
And I mean, it's so different too, because I mean, for me, I didn't start I was fishing just like you. I grew up fishing. So I didn't have my first, hunt for turkey or for deer until I was in my 20s. And so even the feelings that I had, right, as a 20-something compared to, I mean, these kids, they're soaking everything up. And this is like, these are memories as a young kid that are just going to stick with them so much deeper, just because they're so malleable at that point in their life. And so I love that. And I love that I can just tell you're so passionate about it. And that's something that it's just nice to see. I'm really excited that you're part of it and that there's people like you who are part of it.
Thank you, Megan. Oh gosh, that makes my heart so happy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
So our partnership with TWA is just invaluable. These partnerships, and with Texas Parks and Wildlife and Stewards of the Wild, I love these organizations that allow for us to have these connections with folks, because it's just like a big family. I mean, it's just incredible, and there's so many. I went and got my Hunt Master certification also, because I'm like, if there are any time that I can help on a hunt, please let me know, because this is our mission in action right here, introducing these kiddos, and not just kids. I mean, TWA also has the Adult Learn to Hunt program, which you've had Matt on, and he's the freaking coolest, and he's just incredible in what he does and the passion that he has, and just the way that he goes about everything on those Adult Learn to Hunt hunts is just so magnificent. And I have had the honor to help with one of those as well, and it just so y'all go to TWA, check everything out. If you haven't hunted before, please look into that program. We support both of them, and we're in partnership with both of them. And so, so maybe I'll see you there.
Oh, I hope so. I really do. I hope so. And I know that you and I have chatted back and forth about, hey, can you make this? I can't make this one. Or, hey, Matt's got to meet here. Or, I know I did a hunt opening weekend this year. I went on an Adult Learn to Hunt, and that was my first time mentoring besides somebody in my family or a friend.
Right.
First time mentoring. And that was the primary reason, if you guys go back and listen to that episode, the primary reason I even joined Stewards of the Wild was because there was an opportunity for mentored hunting and fishing trips. And so I was just like, I'm wanting, the same as you, to expand this not only with the kiddos, but also with young adults or adults that just don't have the access, right? Like you mentioned. And TWA provides that with a partnership with Stewards of the Wild. There's kind of an interchangeable relationship with the Adult Learn to Hunt, the Stewards of the Wild Adult Mentored Hunt. They're hand in hand. They partner on everything. And like you said, Matt's just fantastic. So I've already sung his praises for this last trip that I went on. Not only just his personality, but his knowledge, his cooking, it's amazing what he does for that program.
Yes. Yes.
It's awesome. And so I wonder, I'm just curious, is there any opportunities on the horizon you think for, Adult Learn to Hunt turkey hunts or something like that?
This is something that we continually talk about, and we have got to, we've absolutely need to get nailed down, because that is one thing that I hear the most of is, well, I've never turkey hunted. And let me just tell all of y'all the biggest secret. I've never killed a turkey in Texas. So I'm right there with y'all. I've only killed turkeys in Oklahoma. I would love more than anything to get a turkey hunt going in Texas, and also not only mentor, but maybe be able to participate also. But it's definitely something that there's multiple people that are trying to make this happen. So as soon as it does, I'll let Megan know. We'll post all about it everywhere, and we'll make this happen.
Yeah, y'all better believe it. As soon as that happens, because I saw your post about the partnership with TWA, and I immediately was like, oh, it's coming, so hopefully that's on the horizon. And if there's anything I can do to advocate for that, sign me up for sure.
Absolutely. You're my girl.
Let's see. So I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of give you the floor a little bit. What's your focus right now as far as I know you guys have goals for when you're fundraising.
Yes, absolutely.
What is the focus for 2024? Kind of what's on the horizon for your fundraising efforts and your events for 2024?
Absolutely. So going into 2024, our main focus is to continue to build chapters in areas that either had a chapter prior to COVID, and unfortunately, events were shut down. I've only been, I wasn't with the organization at that time. I've only been with the organization about 18 months, but I was a volunteer during that time. And, I remember seeing all the emails and all of the Facebook stuff about hey, unfortunately our event, isn't going to be able to be in person. And people went to live. There was a ton of Facebook Live. There was a ton of raffles during the time, just efforts being made as just, on a whim.
Trying your best. Yeah.
Trying your best. I met with a chapter last night that they were telling me that during 2020, their event was scheduled for 2 days after the shutdown. And their venue was like, I mean, we have to adhere to the rules, and they weren't able to have that event even after having everything, just 2 days. And it just boggles my mind what we all went through. And we're still trying to rebuild all, the chapters that we lost. And, I know some volunteers went and volunteered at other, in chapters within the same area. But yeah, our main focus is to rebuild those chapters and get those numbers back up to where we were. Cause I know that we have volunteers that would love to have their events back. We do a hunting heritage banquet, in all of those communities that have the chapters. And they're just such an incredible time to, raise money for our combined passion, but also it's really a celebration for those volunteers and all of their efforts. And it's just incredible to see what people can do when they all come together for the same passion and, have a good drink, have a good meal, win some guns, save some turkeys. Yeah. It's incredible.
And it's just, they're there. And like you said, it's just giving that platform and the location and the opportunity to show up. And people show up, and they continue to show up. So that's what I'm doing.
I am a road warrior. So again, if you don't have a chapter in your area, or you used to have a chapter in your area, and you're wondering, where did they go? What happened? Reach out to me. The easiest thing, you follow me on Instagram. I'm NWTF Amanda. That's me. Or, I'm sure I'll give Meagan my email and everything. So anything that
we'll put some notes in all the links so you guys can access that in the show notes.
Reach out to me and we can definitely have a meeting and see how we can get your community back involved in the efforts and the mission. So that is our main goal. And then of course we have convention coming up. I don't know how. We are already at February convention. We are already having meetings. We are already in the planning stages of all of it, but it's going to be so incredible. We're back in Nashville at the Gaylord, so that's a huge thing on the horizon. And then in January 27th, we have our Texas State Volunteer Appreciation and Awards Ceremony, and that's always such a blast. This is the 21st year of our Texas State chapter. I mean, it's incredible the legacy that NWTF has within Texas, and so so we're doing that. It was going to be in Houston, and so look for all of those things and invites and information to be coming. But we've got a lot on the horizon. But we're extremely excited about banquet season coming back up, and then of course just revitalizing chapters and starting new chapters and getting back into communities or being in a community for the first time and just being able to have those opportunities for the kids and the women and the willing sportsmen and for the conservationists of that area. It's all incredible, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's almost like, and I'm sitting here thinking about if I had your position, it's almost overwhelming sometimes on where, because there's so much emotion on your side. Obviously, you can see that, like I said, you're passionate about it, and it's just, you get so excited, and it's like, where do you focus your energy? So I was wondering, I mean, your region though, it's South Texas is kind of not all inclusive of where your region is, right? So I mean, you travel.
It's kind of a big area. I-20 is kind of our arbitrary line. We have a little bit of leeway in that. So Erica Martinez, she is my North Texas counterpart, and so we've kind of split the state as best as we can. It's just Texas, the biggest, the best. And right. So it's a lot of territory, but we cover it as absolutely best we can. Like I said, I'm an absolute road warrior, always on the road, but I love to drive, and I just plug in a podcast or, rock out to some jams and just go. Just pedal to the metal. But on my wish list, like, dear Santa, please send me a private jet. Like, that would be great. But in the meantime, just
a road warrior. Absolutely.
That's right.
Well, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on today, or that you have on your pitch deck that you want to ask of the audience, or that you want to share with them?
just, if you want to, if this speaks to you and you're a wildlife conservationist and you're looking to volunteer or see how you can give back to the incredible Mother Nature that we all love, let me know. I would absolutely love to meet with you and have a coffee and see how we can make this world a better place. Like, that's just, I believe in leaving things better than you found them. And so that's my main goal in all of this, is just to ensure that we keep on keeping on and we make it better. And every year it gets bigger and better. So yeah, and I just want to thank you and Brandon. Y'all are incredible. Thank y'all for all that y'all do. I love this podcast. I love y'all's passion and I love y'all's hearts, and y'all are just killing it, man. Just love it. You're doing amazing.
Thank you. And I mean, the biggest thing for us was, where can we make the biggest impact? And it's just as simple, from anywhere, right? So we can have this podcast recorded anywhere. We've had people that are willing, like you're on vacation right now, right, to record it. It's only half of us. The other half is the guests who are willing to come on and really advocate for whatever they're passionate about, or where, for you, it's professionally. And it's something that we decided that we have control over this, and it's an easy way for us to contribute without having to have access to land or, whatever it may be. Because I mean, quite frankly, we spend more time professionally in the space than we do just personally. So you'll see us creating content in places that we never would have had access to without the network that we've created and that we've fostered. So I appreciate that a lot. And we look forward, hopefully I'll be able to come to convention. I've been wanting to. I see you post all the time about that, and it's like a marathon for you, like I think she mentioned her handle, but like I said, I'll put all of her links in the show notes. We'll put a link to the website. You guys check out their membership options. Also check out TWA and see how you can get involved with TWA and National Wild Turkey Federation. And thank you so much for your time today and for talking more about the turkey population and what you guys are doing to engage the community and making sure that, like, you're making these connections with those private landowners. I'm so happy that you finally have that partnership in place. That's a huge, huge accomplishment for you guys.
Yes.
And it will open so many doors. It will quite literally open so many gates, I guess, to
properties
that you guys.
So many gates. Yes. And I will gladly be the gate girl. Gladly.
Absolutely. And if you're a private landowner who wants to get involved with National Wild Turkey Federation, whether it be through the Adult Learn to Hunt program or through TWA, contact Amanda directly if you're interested in partnering in any of the chapters, or just, basically allowing your land to be used for some of these hunts and these educational opportunities for the public, and for even just mentees and mentors, something like that, if that's in the future. So pumped about that. I really am. That's going to be something that I'd love to be part of if it does start to blossom in 2024. So
absolutely.
Like I said, thank you again. We will have you back on for sure. I want to talk to you more about convention. And hopefully if we attend convention, we can do a podcast, on location. That would be really fun. Yeah. And I hope you really, happy Friday. I know it's Friday and you're kicking off your weekend. And I'm, like I said, very thankful for your time today. So until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye.